Hey, yo, what's up, man? Let's talk about Floyd and Connor. Got some noise going on in the background, man. Got my camera phone sitting in the window, man. Nice outside today. But anyway, this is my last video on this topic. My pick is Floyd. It's fairly simple. Why I'm gonna go ahead and pick the guy. Floyd is very precise with his punches. He counters well, especially against guys that want to be aggressors, that want to come inside uh, and try to muscle him down, try to walk him down. He's a lot of people want to state that he's a runner. It's no such thing as running in boxing, especially when you're taught to stick and move. That's the name of the game. Hit and not be hit. You have to. If you're in a street fight, you're not gonna stand there and just let some guy swing at you. You're gonna move around. You're gonna duck. You're gonna try to block a punch. You're gonna do whatever you have to do to ensure that you're not taking unnecessary risk, damage. Possibly getting yourself hospitalized or killed. So it's all about getting out of the way of those punches, man. And he happened to be able to master getting out of the way, master ducking, master throwing the perfect counter shot at the right time. His timing is excellent. His footwork is superior. He knows he's a rhythm fighter. Everything that he does is in rhythm. He's going to make sure that from the moment that bell rings, that Connor is going to do what he wants him to do. And any defensive fighter or defensive player in any sport, that's the name of the game, is to force the one on the offensive to do what you want them to do, so that you can get the job done. So that you can either tackle a guy if you're in football, if you're on defense, you're forcing the one on the offensive in to go this way or that way, or to force him into a mistake, to turn the ball over if you're in basketball. Same thing in volleyball. Same thing in tennis. Same thing in any sport. If you're on the defensive end, your job is to force the offense into mistakes. So he's going to make sure that Connor makes a lot of mistakes in there. He's going to make sure that because on fight night, even though Connor likes to stress that he's hold on one second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Don't know what it is about recording sometimes, man, but people just want to be around the camera or see you doing your thing. But anyway, uh Connor Connor's he's gonna have a lot going on fight night. It doesn't matter how many times he's stated that he's been at this level before. He's used to these atmospheres. Nothing bothers him, this and that, but his emotions are going to be running high that night. He has an opportunity to upset Floyd. Um, yeah, it's about the payday. He wants to get paid, but he's also heard a lot of rumblings and grumblings about how he could be the one to truly upset this guy, knock this guy out, and make history for himself, make history all throughout boxing. He can quiet the storm, with Floyd claiming that he is TBE and all of these things. So he's going to have all of that stuff running through his mind on fight night. Floyd is not going to have any of that stuff running through his mind. He's already, in his mind, TBE. Uh, he has been at the top of the game for 20 some odd years. He's not concerned with trying to reach the top. He's not concerned with trying to be the undisputed champ and all of these things, because, like I said before, he's been at the top at over 20 some odd years, and he is truly TBE right now in this generation. So he doesn't have much to prove other than going in there, putting on a good show, and coming out with another big payday. So that's pretty much his mindset. But Connor's going to have a lot going against him, man. And when you have your adrenaline running like that, and that's in anything, it's not just necessarily in sports, but in sports, since we're talking about sports. In sports, when your adrenaline is running like that, man, you exert a lot of unnecessary energy. You know, your heart is beating too fast. You can't control your breathing. Um, you know, you're shaky a little bit, a little jittery. Not necessarily scared, but your adrenaline is pumping and it's causing you to shake, and your muscles are tense, and it's just really hard to relax in there. And if you can't come to a point of relaxation, you're gonna end up having a hard time no matter what sport you're in. Whether it's track and field, whether it's basketball, whether it's volleyball, whether it's tennis, whether it's golf, anything, you're going to have a hard time doing what you're trying to do because your concentration is all over the place. You're not focused. Like I said, your muscles are tensed, and when that happens, you're going to tire easily. And I can see Conor McGregor tiring out between the third and the fourth round. He's going to have a hard time. He's going to go in there and try to do some desperate things like we've seen in all of Floyd's fights, especially in the Oscar De La Hoya fight, especially in the Maidana fight. I would say the guy that gave Floyd the most trouble in his career, outside of maybe Castillo, which Castillo gave him trouble, but not as much as Cotto. Miguel Cotto gave him some serious trouble, and that's because Floyd decided that he was going to stand there and try to go toe to toe and try to walk Miguel Cotto down. And this is a guy who's been boxing for quite some time too, and doesn't lose his composure in the ring. He wasn't rattled by anything Floyd was bringing to him. So Floyd had to decide how he was going to pick his shots. He had to actually stand in there and fight, and he had to box. He had to do everything that he could possibly do on fight night to beat Miguel Cotto. You know, he realized that he had to be on top of his A+ game, not just his A game. So it's gonna be a hard night for Conor, man. I like the guy. I think he's entertaining. I think what they're doing has done wonders for both sports, UFC and boxing. Like I said in my last video, you guys can go back and check it out. You know, it causes people like myself to go over and pay attention to what's going on in UFC, and it causes people that are avid fans in UFC to pay attention to what's going on in boxing. But I think not only that, I think that it's going to open the door for other top level fighters in both sports to cross over and try to make a name for themselves. And I don't think that it does boxing any harm whatsoever, because Floyd is fighting a UFC guy and not one of these so-called top level guys that's left in the sport. You have, I'm going to go over my 8-minute mark here, guys. But you have guys in that's left, like Keith Thurman at the top of his game, and you got Errol Spence coming in and trying to shake up the welterweight division. And it's a lot of other welterweights that I can name, but we'll stick to those two right now. If Floyd was to fight these guys, he would still beat them. Would they give him a contest? Would they try to give him trouble? Possibly, yes. But I see flaws and mistakes in both of those guys, even though I love both of those guys. Keith Thurman, you know, he throws wide looping shots. So he's going to be susceptible to a right-hand counter, you know, maybe even a check hook. And body shots. He can't take body shots. We've all seen that, those of us that know. And Floyd does go to the body. And it would be very complicated for Keith Thurman to bounce back from that. With Errol Spence, his footwork is bad. So it's not really bad. It could be better. I just think that given the level of competition that he has faced, he hasn't felt the need to make any of those extra adjustments in the ring. His thing is to go at you, walk you down, punish you to the body. So Floyd will have a hard time with somebody like Spence, the same way he did with Miguel Cotto. The thing of it is that if Errol Spence can't adjust to the tempo that Floyd is going to impose on him, he's going to have a hard time. So Floyd is going to be doing a lot of movements. His movements are never done for nothing. He's never just bouncing around laterally for nothing. He'll move, laterally one way, and then he'll go another way. Then he'll move backwards. Then he'll move forward. So you see that type of stuff in his training camp when he's working on the mitts, and when he's allowing Big Boy that has the protective gear on that's walking him down. He allows this guy to walk him down in numerous angles in the ring. So he's used to that amount of pressure, and especially coming from a guy that looks like he's about 230, 240, close to 300 pounds in the ring. So he's not gonna sit there and be worried about somebody that's gonna be coming at him with so-called force and walking him down. So everything that he does in his training camp is vital for what's going to happen in that ring. But anyway, man, I just want to say congratulations to Terrence Crawford. He took care of business in the ring, and he has united all of the belts, and he is the front runner. So I wish him all the success. I hope that he can climb the top of the pound for pound ranks with what he has done, which he won't, because they're gonna say that he hasn't fought anyone with a star level, A level name in boxing. So that's what I would want for him next, to move on up to 147, and it'll probably take him 2 years because he'll probably defend his title and titles. Sorry about that, titles. He will defend those, and then he'll start trying to add some weight on and add some more muscle, and go ahead and move on up to 147. And I think in 147 he should challenge somebody like Amir Khan if he's still willing to fight, and maybe Danny Garcia. Those should be his two at that level, just walking in and getting, just warming up in the division. I think that should be his next step if he's really considering moving up to 147. So 2 years from now, I expect to see Terrence Crawford in the ring with somebody of that caliber. So anyway, man, video's way too long, but that's all I wanted to say on that. I'm going to do another video on Canelo and Triple G, and I'm going to explain some of the differences in that fight and what 160 means for Canelo. It could possibly hurt or possibly do him wonders. So it could hurt him or it could do wonders for him. But anyway, man, I'm up out of here. You guys don't hesitate to comment. Don't hesitate to subscribe, man. I'm getting ready to try to do some different things with this channel and grow the channel. Get a better camera and all of these good things. So don't hesitate, man, to start subscribing, man, and looking out for me. Continue, man, your support. I thank all of you guys, man, for your time, and I appreciate you. Peace.